So, I hope you had a nice break. I'm going to tell you something about how we adopted Liferay into our organization. First of all, let me introduce you the company I'm working for, P&V Group. We are a Belgian cooperative insurance company. We also have multi-brand, multi-company. So, as you can see, I have some logos here. Specifically, we are in a direct sales channel, being Actel. We also have a tied agents channel, which means that the agents can only sell products from this group. And we have a broker channel called Vivian. And there we work with brokers they can give advice to customers to sell products of different insurance companies. We are around 1,885 employees, so it's in Belgian terms, it's in Belgium a mid-sized company. And we are on the Belgian market, so it's a fully Belgian-owned company, and on the Belgian market we are the 6th largest company for insurances, so not the biggest one, not the smallest either. Premiums 2013 around 1.5 billion euros. And this is also important for the rest of the presentation, because in 2007 we acquired ING Insurance Belgium, and this has at that moment in time doubled the size of the company, both in revenue, also in employees. So, the challenge. There's a few technical slides here, but you do not have to understand everything. The whole point is, because we did some mergers, acquisitions, and for that we also got into an IT infrastructure or an IT landscape where we had to face with multiple tailor-made CMSs. We have still Lotus Notes, Lotus Domino servers. We have also Alfresco content management system running on IBM web application server. We have another site which has content in Drupal, and so on. So this is a landing page for Tango, which is for the application called, which is in use by the tied agents. So this is old school internet, I would say. So the challenge is we have to support all these different platforms, which you could put as a summary. They're all tailor-made portals to a specific audience, being either the direct sales, the tied agents, or the brokers. So this was a challenge in around 2011. We did a study because we said, how are we going to face the future? Because if we do not do anything, we will have to support all these different platforms for different channels, and we wanted to break up the boundaries between these different platforms. So then we looked into what is necessary, and in this study we said, for business needs, we really need a platform that allows us to do cross-selling. We also wanted group-wide functionality, because now the functioning was really isolated in these different platforms. We wanted single sign-on, because this was also a challenge for some platforms, that every time an agent or a user wanted to do something else, he needed to sign on again. And we also wanted customization, which means the applications were written for a specific target audience, but the whole functionality and content which is presented to that specific audience was really customized to that, but also in a way that we were unable to expose it to another target audience without having to rewrite parts or entire parts of the application. So that was a challenge as well. And of course, customer engagement. Brian mentioned it earlier. It's one of the main topics of Liferay. So we wanted to drive the social interaction with all of our end users and of course customers. On the IT side, what do we want? Of course, the rationalization of the environments. As mentioned earlier, we have all these different platforms which are hard to maintain, which are nearly impossible to integrate. So that was our main driver from IT side. So a one-for-all approach was really what we were looking at. And we wanted also an industry standard solution. And that was not a trivial one. To be honest, it's the second time where a P&V Group as an enterprise chose for a platform that was at the time when we chose for it not such a trivial choice, because we were, due to historical reasons, very IBM oriented. For the mainframe, we still have in our IT department 80% of people are still working on mainframe, COBOL, and this kind of PL1 and this kind of stuff. So it was not a trivial choice to go beyond, let's say, the so-known technology stacks or technology providers like IBM and so on. We did then a study, and I did not mention IBM just like that, because we did a check of Liferay. It fitted all of these functionalities that business wanted. And we did also a check, of course, on IT side. And also there was a full coverage of all these functionalities desired by both IT and business. I also mentioned that, I mean, you will see this throughout the presentation. Liferay was chosen not only by IT, but it was really, as from that moment, a close cooperation between business and IT. And I think this is of paramount importance. Do not consider Liferay as an IT platform. It is a business platform, and you have to pull in the business from the beginning. And that is also exactly what we did. So this is one of the key messages I want to give here. We want to pull in business. Around 2011, as I said, we did this study, and this is the e-vision. And in our approach, we also said, okay, how are we going now to tackle this issue? I mean, we cannot do all at once. And therefore, the study outlined three main phases in this approach for the portal platform. And this, first of all, enabling. So we made an inventory together with business. They had informal processes for content. There were no assigned content owners. It was very poorly documented. I mean, it's typical when you have a large enterprise with many different business units or lines of business, as you want. Content is scattered around the enterprise, and it is one of the challenges also. You really have to document what you have before you can solve it by means of a technology platform. And that is exactly what one of the challenges we were facing. As you saw earlier in the presentation, redundant information sources, tedious publication to websites because multiple technology platforms, but also it was hard to find out who is now publishing what. And another problem was also that to publish this content, the business always has to rely on IT before it gets published. And this is also a factor we wanted to exclude. We wanted to push back this whole publication of content towards the business, so that IT, we believe that IT has no added value in that, in publishing the content. I mean, this is really something of the business, and that's also one of the changes we wanted to do. So this is what we called in our enabling phase the foundation. We wanted a content governance plan, identification of processes, and portlet governance. To do that, of course, we needed business. So this was what was outlined, and the technical result was that also IT was going to create the portlets we publish them in a repository, and then it is up to the webmaster to use these portlets and websites. Now, important to know is, and I know that it is not in all organizations who adopt Liferay as a platform, we have clearly segregated the roles of IT and business. So the webmaster is a business profile. It's not someone residing in IT. So is the teamer slicer, so is the usability expert. Tactics. That is one step further. So we said the enabling phase, it's kind of a learning curve. We start easily, we start to inventory and outline what we want to do. In the tactics, we go one step further and said, okay, we want the segregation per brand. We want this clear segregation business IT. And as you can see, Portal Liferay was looked as an IT project. Yeah, that was the initial outline by business. We said, no. We want a program governance, and we want to go to that we can go multi-channel, multi-brand approach, and we want a multidisciplinary team. So we pull in business, really, and business owns the portal program. Due to that, we also have set up this program governance and a steering committee, which is presided by the marketing and sales director. And this is going on for 2 years. So since 2 years, he's presiding it, IT takes part in it, but it's mainly business who drives the program. Another thing is that classically we developed in waterfall. This is more for the technical people. And we moved on to Agile. So this was the time to introduce Scrum Agile, because it allows really to have this close collaboration between business and IT. This is something which was completely new to the organization, but we took the opportunity to introduce it together with Liferay as a platform for 2 reasons. One, the portal platform allows it, or is even perfectly suited to do so. If you build portlets, these are really small containers with behavior which you can perfectly fit into a Scrum approach. And another thing is, I really wanted to introduce Scrum into the organization because I had a former experience with that. So, our ambitions, the E-vision itself is cross-selling, upselling, improve prospects management. I think what is outlined here is a bit summarized by Brian this morning in the engagement. Also, it's cut up in more specific things we wanted to do. Self-service is also an aspect we wanted to address, because everything was driven inside out from the company. So it was the business decided what to do with the customer. We want to reverse that, and that the customer can self-service and can challenge us, give input on how we have to do our business. So, on the implementation, this is the step-up approach, and I will now show you some examples of what we have accomplished. I'm talking now from beginning 2012, so it's 1.5 years ago. We have now in Liferay our new website. Well, in the meantime, it's no longer very new, but let's say 1 year old. Vivian.be. And on a check, dynamic tagging, Google Analytics, responsive design. So these were all the features of the E-vision we wanted to incorporate. As you can see, step-up approach, we started easily just with a public website. There's no, well, there's 2 exceptions, but there's no really coupling with our backend. Then we also built an application which is for the brokers, because end of last year we did a migration of the car application from into one platform, from 2 into 1, and we used Liferay as a communication platform towards the brokers to show them, okay, what's coming next, what do you have to consider, what are our deadlines, and so on. So we really took this as a mini corporate website to publish how our project was moving on. Then this is also for, if you're looking for a new job, please come visit us. We have een toffe job, and just to show you, Shwed job, so also to show you the multilingual aspect of Liferay is exposed here. So this is what we did as well. We also included some films, as you can see, interviews with people working in the group. Recently, and I'll come back to that later on, we also released My HR, which is more addressed to the internal people, where that we, well, people can now much more easily access the HR services. They can self-service, they can ask questions. There are SLAs put on that, on when HR needs to reply on that. Then we have, and here comes the next phase in our enabling. Here we really, this is an application which is being developed right now. It's called the new brand or new fire application. As you can see, this looks more like forms. You have a roster there, and this is really where we have put forward Liferay as a presentation and application platform, but in the back end, it is COBOL who drives all the business logic and so on. So it's perfectly possible to use Liferay as a platform to expose your internally developed applications. Okay, some more screens about that. Oh, somewhat too quick. Can I go back? Yes. Specifically to mention Jacket 2.0, and our designer here who developed this is sitting in the room. This is something we developed in-house because it does many things. It facilitates the quick creation of new projects, both in Java or Liferay. And you could compare it, and this has always been missing, I would say, in Java. If you look at the .NET, where you have the Visual Studio, it's easy to click and drag and create your screens. That's exactly what Jacket does. And it creates also the projects behind. It ensures consistency in the fields and the naming and so on. So just to mention, we went a step further to facilitate how to build applications. That's what's Jacket. If you have more questions, please, during the breakout, ask us. Okay, solid partners. Yeah, how did we do that? First of all, we created a competence center. As mentioned earlier, we have really brought together all the people necessary to make this a success. Business. Let me scroll forward. First of all, it's not always responding. Yeah, business. As I mentioned, the webmaster is in there, the teamer slicer, usability expert, but also the product owners. And now I'm talking a little bit of Scrum. The product owner is, let's draw the analogy with the business project leader who knows exactly what are the priorities, what do we want to achieve, by when, which phase, and so on. We have IT development, of course. Somebody needs to glue it all together and make it work. Infrastructure, of course, because infrastructure has also played a major role in the setup and to make it happen. Just to mention you, we have a Liferay instance in our demilitarized zone that is more for internet stuff, and we have it also internally, which is more for our internal use. So there is a clear segregation on. So we have multiple instances of Liferay running on our premises. And then IT architecture, and as I said, we have put it all together in Scrum. Is that it? No. We also had have a close collaboration with ACA IT Solutions, company in Belgium. They're our gold partner. We do many things with them. First of all, I insisted because we have internal staff and we also have other staff that joins us, because everything which is Liferay portal we do on top of maintaining what we already have, because first you need to invest and then you can say, okay, we migrated to Liferay and we can let go, let's say, our legacy. So we have two consultant developers on site. In the meantime, we have one person from ACA in Antwerp and we have one person in Brussels because our IT is spread over 2 locations. And I wanted to have someone on every location that injects knowledge, expertise into these teams so that we can have a step up or a speed up in how we can work with Liferay. ACA also helped us with the setup and foundation. Initially we did this ourselves, but then we made use of their offering for the health check, and they made a report of it, out of which came a lot of recommendations, but also a lot of actions, which in the meantime are running or have already been done. So this was really a major step forward in our enabling phase, that we have our platform stabilized. I told you I would come back on my HR. This is also because we want to make speed, and one of the indicators of the success is that we get a lot of questions from business. Can you do this in Liferay? Can you do that in Liferay? And so on and so on. And we talked to ACA and we said, okay, some parts we want to do ourselves because it's strategic. It's like the new Fire application, which we want to integrate with our backend. This is really of strategic importance. Other applications are also more tactical, and we said, okay, ACA, can you make us an offering and do it for us? We do the intake, there's a knowledge transfer, and they did really well. So this is because why my HR got taken by them and we insourced it afterwards. They also took care of the Liferay training. And which is also nice is that they also adopt Agile Scrum. So the way of working they were really familiar with, or let's put it otherwise, they're really also learning us on how doing that with tips and tricks and so on. So up till now, strategic partnership. So they allow us to do a faster time to market, and what they deliver is of indisputable quality. I mean, we can really rely on them, and they proved it with my HR, they proved it with the people they have on premise to help us. So we're really delighted with that. And then, of course, Liferay itself. You have the Community Edition, we have, of course, the Enterprise Edition, and we rely on Liferay to help us with their expertise. And the technical colleagues, they can confirm. They just had a chit-chat with Eva, which they call from time to time with support questions. And I must really say, I mean, if you have questions on whatever topics, within 2 business days we get an answer. This is also in close collaboration with the partner. I mean, we discuss the topics. Some are for ACA, and some are really, we say this is into the core of Liferay. We want to know how it works and so on. So we get help from both partners. Yeah, and then when I talk to the technical people, they say, well, we have a platform here. We do many things with it, but the full power of it, we have some clues, but we haven't yet exploited it to the full potential. So there's more to come, but in 2 years' time, what we have set out here, I can really be glad with it because it's really a success. So that's our competence center. Oh, a little bit too quick. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, yes. Questions? Although time's up, I guess.
No, you have exactly
1 minute.
5 minutes for questions. So if you guys have questions, we'll pass the microphone around to you, and you can ask Jean-Luc about the particulars. Yes. Is it on? Did you turn it on? Try now? Yeah, there you go.
I want just to ask you haven't used all your Liferay instance, and that you can share all services between the different websites that you have developed.
Yes, that's, if I understand your question well, so can we deploy portlets on multiple instances?
In fact, in your presentation, you have told that you are using multiple Liferay instances And my question is why you haven't used only one instance and sharing all the service using...
Well, there's two reasons for that. We have one in the demilitarized zone, so which is only accessible from the outside in. And we want to, for security reasons also, there's some rules imposed that we need multiple instances. Another thing is also load balancing. So if we want to, we expect to get a lot of load, and then we want to balance it across multiple instances. Does that answer your question? Otherwise we talk during the... Yeah. Okay.
Any more questions? Over here. Okay.
In the beginning of the presentation and during the presentation, you mentioned a few times cross and upselling.
Yes.
Can you give some examples on how you realize this in Liferay?
Yeah. The thing is, for example, I'll mention Actel. Yeah, we have a direct channel, and we also have, I didn't mention it really, Actel Affinity. And Affinity is, you have car brands which have affiliates. Yeah. So when, for example, you go in Belgium to a garage of BMW or Mercedes-Benz, they sell you a car, but they can also sell you an insurance. And this insurance is not really a BMW insurance. Behind that, it's an Actel. Yeah. So the guy in the garage, he sells you a car, he makes you an offering, yeah. But then it's only limited to car, whilst Actel Direct also offers fire or family protection. And because there were two isolated environments, it was not possible to do cross-selling, because once you know, okay, Mr. X has bought a car and a car insurance, okay, we know that, but it was technically nearly impossible to do cross-selling because the platforms were completely isolated. By means of Liferay, we want to really blend them together, and by means of customization, if it's Actel Direct, which is a customer on the website, he will only see, he will get access to Actel Direct. But behind that, there will be the main engine, the same database, so we can really use it to do marketing towards that same customer. If he buys, for example, a car, we say, oh, you bought a car, you have already a fire insurance with us, maybe you're interested also in car. It's more like Liferay enables it, but we have to blend our platforms together in Liferay. Yeah. Okay?
We have time for one more question. Over there.
Well, thank you. I think it's quite impressive what you achieved with Liferay, for example. Can you also say something about the investment in money required to get something like this going, and cost levels for maintenance and support? Did you actually manage to reduce your cost levels?
I do not know all the figures by heart, but what I can tell you is more like about the staffing we have. In fact, we have two teams of almost, let's say, around 7 to 8 people. So one in Brussels, one in Antwerp. So after all, it's all, let's say, 15 people working simultaneously on having everything achieved. If you want to express in euros, I would say around 1.5 million euros per year in development. And then, of course, the licenses and the support we have. But I do not know all the figures by heart here, but yeah.
What was the reason to choose Liferay also, that it was efficient to do it?
Well, the other thing we have is Alfresco. Yeah? Alfresco is for enterprise content management. And we also discovered that the two fit together. In competition with Liferay was IBM. They did some splendid presentations, but then we did a proof of concept, and then it went the others. Then Liferay really outperformed IBM on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your questions. Jean-Luc, you will be around to answer anything
sure.
during lunch. Thank you very much. Can we give Jean-Luc a hand?